How about the topic of peace and rest? You know, I just told you I had a friend of mine, and we're recording right now. I had a friend of mine, highly successful in business, family man, a wife and 3 young kids, passed away of cancer. You know, it's a sad situation for he and his family, and dealing with that. But when people pass away, we have RIP, rest in peace. What you teach is peace and rest here in the now, amidst the world and the chaos and the challenges that we face. And how can someone understand that you can have peace and rest now versus having that last breath and then people saying rest in peace?
Well, it's kind of hard to have peace and rest if you're believing in the law of sin and death. In other words, if you're running around believing if you misbehave, you know, you've just made some action and committed this thing called sin.
Even thought about it, according to some people's interpretation of Jesus.
Yeah,
he said, even if you think about it.
Right. I mean, what I'm saying is you have the guilt thing. Here it goes, right?
Yep.
You know, that's you know, if you're walking around believing in the law of sin and death, it's pretty tough to have peace and rest.
Correct.
You know, so that's kind of what the new covenant was about. You know, Christ came and he died to cancel out the old covenant message, which was the law that measured man's behavior. And so man's always been trying to be good. You know, because of that. Yeah.
And Jesus showed time
and that's
again.
why he came. He says, you know, I'm going to take that old covenant and I'm going to cancel it out, and I'm going to remember their sins no more. Well, that's just hard on us because we keep believing in what our eyes are telling us. And what does our eyes tell us? Well, our eyes see us misbehave. And so we're just convinced that there's got to be some kind of redeeming action over and over and over again. You know, on our part, you know, we need to repent and we need to, you know, ask for forgiveness again. And here we go again. You know, and this time.
I've fallen short again. Yeah.
Missed the mark.
Right. Again and again.
Again and again. And at this time, you know.
And then we feel,
You know,
we're letting ourselves down at that point too.
Right. And really, right, sure. And what it really comes down to is we keep putting ourselves in the equation. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
We are convinced we have a part in salvation.
Got to do my part.
Now, Jesus just made a way. You know, that's what people believe. Right? He went to the cross and he made a way, and now we need to accept the gift.
But take some actions. But still be on the right path, or else.
Yeah, we got to seal this thing by saying the 14 correct words and really meaning it. And then, you know, it's all an experience. It's all an experience. But salvation is an experience. It's a knowing. See, it's us coming into recognition, knowing within us that God took care of us.
And still loves us.
Yeah. And
with grace that we can't even comprehend. Most people can't comprehend.
And it says in Timothy, he saved us before the world began. But see, we can't teach that because we as man believe in time and space.
Right.
Well, he doesn't operate in time and space. We're right back to us believing we think he knows how he thinks.
And if we were if we were there, this is how we would do it.
Yeah.
Right. He doesn't think like we think.
We think he knows. We know how he thinks, and he doesn't. He doesn't think like us.
He doesn't think in time and space. He doesn't think in right or wrong.
He doesn't
think in good and bad.
He doesn't operate in time and space. He never ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So he doesn't operate off of this right and wrong belief system that man operates off of, and we're just absolutely convinced that we're getting acceptance or not being accepted based off of that belief system.
Conditional love.
That he doesn't operate off of. And that's why we see the world out there as oh my gosh, this and that and the other thing, and we're all caught up in it.
That's bad, that's good,
yeah,
that's right,
we're
that's
all,
wrong.
We're all stirred up. We're all stirred up over something that he doesn't see as bad. He just doesn't. And so
it is, right? And it is a symphony.
What man doesn't understand is man's right and wrong, good versus evil belief system is producing the thing out there that they're seeing that's making them wring their hands and gnash their teeth and go out into outer darkness. See? That thing out there that they're looking at that's got their flesh all stirred up, that's a byproduct of that belief system that I keep saying. The tree of life canceled out that message. It canceled out that belief system. But see, the problem is we don't teach it. We're not going to teach it.
Most people don't hear about it or know about it.
We'll never, most people. I've even heard preachers stand up and say, I'm going to talk about the new covenant. And they'll even say, I've never taught this before.
Right. Yet they're mixing the new with the old. Right.
Teaching this, right?
And they have to teach it.
Then they go off and start teaching it.
And go back to the law.
And what are they doing? They're
back and forth.
They can't because they just don't understand it.
Right.
They just don't understand it. It's kind of like they can't. It's saying it. It's saying it to them, plain and simple, clear. But see, we just can't believe that. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's kind of like we say, well, we believe in grace.
Up to a point.
But again.
All the way up to here. Once you cross that line, that's too much.
Right, but understanding grace, again.
Right.
That's not God's grace, that's man's grace.
Correct. God's grace is no boundary.
Yeah, see, again, His grace is not our grace.
Right. Well,
see,
from
we wrap our right and wrong, good versus evil belief system around grace. See, so His
with
grace...
our boundaries. Well, grace up to this point.
His grace is not our grace. And so it's unbelievable. So it's unbelievable.
Right.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, for man, this new covenant message is unbelievable.
From our flesh experience, I'm a father, you're a father. And we pray that our children, well, they're going to follow God's plan. There's no other plan that they can follow. And they're going to do what's theirs to do. But in this right and wrong world, some people have kids that go off and murder people. Some people have kids that go off and create ridiculous, heinous tragedies. That we label all this stuff. But the parent can say, I don't approve of that behavior, but I still love my child. And God doesn't have the tree of knowledge of right and wrong, good and bad. He doesn't see it as tragedies, good, bad. It's just creation. And that's hard for us to grasp.
When something pops up, I mean, you called it murder.
Yeah.
When something pops up, or something takes place, and we look at it and we go, wow, what in the world, right? But listen, nothing's popping up without Him doing it. And so we're the only ones, when it pops up and shows itself right in our face, we're the only ones that are looking at it and saying, that's not good.
It was not a surprise to God.
That's bad. But see, God doesn't operate in that belief system. So what is He doing with that? Okay, so I don't know what He's doing with that. But see, all I'm supposed to do is believe in God.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm just supposed to trust him in that thing that just smacked me in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so this outward appearance world that we're walking around in our knowledge of right and wrong belief system, which is the foundation of what we're walking around in here,
Mm-hmm.
well, certainly you and I would look at that thing and go, well, that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. But what I'm saying is, he uses it all.
Right. He's got the whole puzzle piece. That's a puzzle piece. He's got the whole complete puzzle that we can't even see. We're seeing.
It's kind of like we start acting like we're the God in the God relationship.
Mm-hmm. Right.
We're going to decide what he can do and what he can't do.
Correct. Right. You hit me with a question a long time ago. Coming from from God to me, do you trust me? Do you trust me? And that leads to the question that we started this off with. What brings peace and rest? So instead of waiting for rest in peace when you die, how can you have peace and rest now? Imagine God, the creator of all, the creator of the universe, the creator of everything, from infinitely small to the entire universe and beyond, all has your back. Do you trust me? Like, our kids trust us unconditionally when they're kids. They don't know any better. We as humans in this experience sometimes get caught up in the world and forget to trust. If we can, in our being, be trustworthy to our kids, how come we're having such a hard time trusting the creator of all? And I think it goes back to you saying we think we're the God in the equation.
Yeah, it's just tough for us.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, there are people out there dealing with stuff, Tom, is...
Yep. Beyond writers of movies couldn't come up with the crazy stuff that people are dealing with.
Just,
right, crazy stuff.
Just breaks your heart,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what to say. All I can tell you is that's what believing in God is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's what believing in God is. And that's all he wants from us. We think he needs us to serve him and do this and that and the other thing. Listen, all he needs us to do is trust him. In that thing that looks like, what in the world?
The end, right? There's
Yeah.
no way this is going to...
So listen, the problem with us is we just see this much. It's like we're looking through a peephole.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking through a peephole and we're making a decision on that thing. And the view's like this. You see what I mean? But we don't see the end.
Yeah.
Okay? And so regardless of the outcome, the only thing I can do is say, hey, listen, Father, if I'm going to walk around here telling people and saying, I believe in God, wow, I guess I'm going to have to believe in this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so that's just hard on us. And I get that, I really get that. But I went over to the resort the other day and, those trainers over there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I show up and there's guys over there waiting for me to show up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hey man, can you tell me something today?
Nice.
And because I told them a little bit of stuff, and they're like, huh. So I went in with there the other day, and these two guys stand there, and he goes, hey, come here. So man, I'm dealing with some stuff that's just taking me down,
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, well, here's the thing. When something pops up, what happens is we look at that thing and it's right here, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we come into agreement with it. We come into agreement with that thing that's in front of our face as being reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then we make a decision on that thing that's in front of our face.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this isn't going to end well. This isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And so what happens then, our flesh gets stirred up.
Mm-hmm.
And we go into anxiety, anger,
fear, depression,
frustration,
fight or flight, right?
Yeah,
fight or flight, all that. Mm-hmm.
And so, what does it do? It takes us down the ditch. Mm-hmm. It takes us down the ditch.
Versus the peace and rest that brings it to God. Right. Do you trust me?
And what he's saying to me, what he's saying to us is, that thing that I created, that scenario that I created, that I had pop up right in front of your face, guess what? I need you to see me right here through that thing. And what I need you to do is, I said, buddy, next time that thing pops up, stop. Take a moment, pause, get some recognition, and say, Father, I believe in you. I trust you in this thing that has me stirred up right now. So, Father, I need your peace as I walk through this. I need your peace. And I'm going to trust you with whatever you want to do with this. Because I know that instead of me looking at it and saying, this is no good, Father, I know that was born out of love. Now, that just doesn't make any sense.
And it's the one moment that...
But see, listen, if we understand grace, grace doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Okay? But
one thing that hit me when you described that, I've never heard this before, and this is the first time I've ever even thought of this, but I connected it to, you ever look at the paintings or the printing that just look like stuff, but when you focus on it, you see a 3D image in it? So the stuff is this challenge, is this chaos, is this surprise that jumped in front of you, and most people are like, holy crap, this is not good. This sucks. But when we, hey God, I see you through this. Let me look at this through your view. And we see this amazing 3D image of God there with us. We're not alone in this. God is there with us. And had created this moment at the beginning of time, at the beginning of all creation. This was part of that creation. And so I trust you in this. From my perspective, this peephole I'm looking at, it's not looking good, but thankfully you got your perspective and I'm going to trust. You see better than I do, so thank you. Thank you. I don't understand this, but thank you for taking care of this. And you know, here we are.
And I told those guys, I goes, listen, guys, I completely understand it, man. I get it. But
just because you know what you know doesn't mean you don't face chaos.
Just think, listen, when your flesh gets stirred up, it's like a Geiger counter going boom, ping. Right? What I'm saying, it's kind of like it's pushing you out of balance. Okay? So what I'm saying to you is, over time, okay, that's going to settle in you, that understanding is going to settle in you, and that recognition is going to kick off sooner.
Right.
You see what I mean? I get the
You're
response.
You're able to get back to grip.
Listen, I get the response. Boom, poof. You know, whoa.
Off the charts. Right.
You know, I get it.
Right.
I get the response. All I'm saying is we don't have to sit in that.
You can, as you go through this, you can get back to peace and rest more quickly. Back to God, trusting in God, takes away the anxiety, takes away the fear, and brings you back to peace and rest. And hey, I didn't get an answer last time, but when you know this stuff that you're sharing, does that mean God says, hey, you know what? No more challenges for you? Does that, like, no more what you interpret as challenges?
I think with me, it's like, oh, you said you believed in me?
Yeah. How about this? Yeah.
Oh, hey, Dan, just checking in with you.
You still believe in me? Yeah.
Hey, buddy, just checking in with you. Because you say it.
Right. Let's see.
But, hey, okay, let's see how, you know. Hey, guess what? You know, when you come back from Colorado, you come back from Colorado, you go get in your car, guess what? It's not going to start.
just to check in, right? And that's part of the dynamic that we're in.
Yeah, just checking in.
And if you look in the Bible, it doesn't show the people who believed in Christ or God had an easy path. Matter of fact, you could probably interpret it as saying, they probably were checked in more. Are you sure you're believing what you say? What about now? How about this?
I'm just seeing over time what happens is that your recognition will kick off.
Faster.
You know? And that's why he said, wake up, you know? You're like, we're in an unconscious state.
Mm-hmm.
So...
the world is hypnotizing.
Yeah,
It's
so
hypnotizing.
he's just waking us up
Mm-hmm.
and saying, hey, buddy, you said you believed in me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rest.
And so,
peace.
yeah, I
In-
mean, listen,
in the
we're
world.
not getting through this life without stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's
not part of the plan. The plan
we got
is
people
stuff.
running around out here that thinks, you know, they can make the world with no harm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the world needs to be like no harm, and you know,
And that proves
there
it.
can't be anything unfair.
Right. From the millions of different perspectives on fair and unfair.
We're going to make everything fair.
Right.
And by golly, we're going to point out what isn't fair.
Right.
We all, you know what it really is? It's man out there believing somebody's doing something to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some guy out there is doing something to me.
Mm-hmm.
I got done wrong by that guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Somebody's doing something to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got the whole world running around out there. And then what do? Well, we got to find blame. I got to blame somebody. You know, hey, I'll go with that guy over there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is we are convinced that somebody's out there doing something to us. Listen, nobody's doing anything to us. The only, you want to get upset at somebody? Get upset at God, because he's the only one that's doing anything. We got this,
It's all
got this belief system, we're running around man's doing something.
it's all the symphony of God.
Man's not doing anything. I don't know why Jesus can say, I can of my own self do nothing, but man's over here running around telling everybody what all he's doing.
I can do it, yeah. I got it.
You know, man, listen, the whole Bible is man saying I can do it and God saying no, you can't. I mean, this isn't complicated. It's not complicated. You know, just man makes things hard.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the world is full of distractions from the main thing that we're here to do is get to know God and get to trust God. And in this world of hypnotic state and distractions, guess what? This and all the other things out there pull our attention and try to get us away from what's the most important
I
thing.
mean, Jesus said, those are the cares of the world, man.
Mm-hmm.
What is that to you? That's what he said. What is that to you? Everybody think, oh, you gotta
do this.
You gotta get out there and you gotta, you know. Listen, if God tells you to get out there, then go out there.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
Right.
Don't sit there and, you know, go without thought. Don't take a purse. Let's go.
The heart
Yeah.
is a nice GPS.
Let's go. Listen, he'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Get going.
Whenever I followed intuition, what doesn't make sense, couldn't be planned,
Right.
works out like it was a masterful plan because it was made before all creation. The plan, when you have the trust and faith and follow what the heart's guiding you to do, aka God speaking through you, you follow that and watch how it unfolds magically.
Listen, if he doesn't want you doing something, he'll shut the door.
And there's times when I've had the intuition, like I knew, like this is what I'm feeling called to do, and I blocked it. Ooh, that's too scary, or that's too fearful. And then those little reminders, like, oh, not trusting the intuition. How about this? How about this? And then after numerous nudges and sometimes knocking me on my face, oh, that was what it was called to do a long time ago that I've been fighting.
Listen, if he's throwing stuff up there, what happens is we start resisting things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like taking a ball and throwing it up against the wall. It's going to come back at us harder.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll get in tune with what's going on. But
Well, there's popular things of the power of now, the power of being present. And I can say, like in what we chat about, we just take the steps that we feel called to take and say the things we feel called to take. We didn't sit down and script this out. We didn't even really have a topic. We just press play and here we go. The words are going to speak. Like when I speak on stages, people tell me, I'm excited to hear what you have to say. I said, me too. I'm really not certain. I have an idea, but it's going to go where it goes based upon where I feel drawn. I don't know what I'm going to say until it comes out. And then afterwards, what'd you say? I don't know. I don't know. We were talking about that. What did we say last? I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You're in the present because you're following the guidance of your heart. You're speaking when you feel it's time to speak. You're walking when you feel it's time to walk. You're doing what you feel is yours to do based on the intuition that comes through trusting in God, and it brings the peace and rest.
That goes with that. That goes with that. Then what if we're making the wrong choice, Tom, when this thing comes up? When something comes up. What if we take the wrong path? What if we make the wrong decision? You hear that all the time. Dan, we're making decisions. There's choices to be made. Okay, well, I get that. There's choices going on. There's decisions going on. All I'm saying is they're not yours. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, there's choices going on. There's decisions going on. They're just not yours. Okay? And so we connect it to us. I mean, we see ourselves making a choice. That's a choice, Dan. Well, listen. I'm not doing anything.
You're being.
Unless he decides. Here we go. So, we just keep looking at each other and judging each other's behavior. Just keep doing it over and over and over. And we just keep teaching this belief system of this is right and that's wrong. So if we have a right and a wrong, then God does the good things, Satan does the bad thing, and we're over here doing our own thing. And that's the thing that makes the world go round. And so,
doesn't bring the peace and rest.
I hear people talk about, well, we need to turn the world upside down. Well, listen, if you want to turn the world upside down, we're going to have to get rid of that belief system. Because that's the belief system we eat from.
Or at least observe it and understand that's what's happening.
Just listen, out there, in this physical outward appearance world that we're walking around in, guess what? 99.9. I'm going to say 8, probably 9% of the people walking around out there believing this is right and that's wrong. And they also believe in their own free will. They believe in their own self-will and their own self-power. They're convinced of it because their eyes keep telling them that. And so they walk by sight. And so that's what goes on. So, we show up and go, well, guess what? There's only one will, one creator, one power.
It's not a dual power system.
It's not dualism. We came into oneness. When he says I and you and me, it meant for real. And listen, we can't teach that out there. So what are they going to teach you? What are they going to tell you about scripture like that? They're going to say, well, Dan, that's just positional. That's just relational. Well, that's the problem. Again, we're back to that thing again. That's just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. Okay? It's unbelievable that we're one. We can't comprehend that.
Okay. Well, yeah, because Jesus is God and God is Jesus, but come on, Dan, you're saying I and you and me. That's, wait a second.
Well, I mean, man can't.
So
they can't handle that.
So going back to peace and rest, I love how you said, like, look, it's going to pop up, and instead of seeing it for what it is in the flesh and in this reality, see it as God, and God's, hey, just checking in. Do you trust me?
We keep thinking, we keep connecting things to a person. My next door neighbor, he did this thing, and now I'm all pissed off at him. Okay. Yep. Well, guess what? The neighbor's not doing anything. That's just so hard. Well, wait a minute. I saw the freaking guy do it. So now it's war. Yep. Okay. And so we're just the biggest blaming, judgmental world out here. And we just don't get why it is. Well, it is because we keep operating off this belief system that was supposed to pass away. But you go talk to people about, and you tell them it's supposed to pass away, they go, oh my gosh, God wouldn't want that to pass away, because he wants us to know what's right and wrong, because when the enemy shows up, then we'll know what's wrong. And we'll be able to fight the enemy. It's like we're fighting some phantom thing out there.
The hand is fighting the leg.
Yeah.
The
it's
hand
like,
wants to fight the leg. We're all
again. When Christ went to the cross and the devil died, the serpent died on the pole. Okay. Again, it's unbelievable. See, this whole message of the tree of life is unbelievable. But the problem is we can't, generation after generation after generation after generation, we will not teach the tree of life. Won't do it. Matter of fact, we'll tell people out there that the tree of the knowledge of good and evil and the tree of life are just insignificant.
Right.
In the picture of the garden.
Don't pay attention to that, yeah.
Don't pay attention to those trees. The fruit don't mean anything. Although, here's man out there, 99.9% of them running around with their knowledge of right and wrong.
I wonder if there's a connection.
The tree was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Is that some kind of complicated connection that we just can't get to? You know what that is? That's just man not wanting to go there. That's all that is.
That removes.
Yeah. See,
what's happening?
We just can't. Man, you know what it does? It takes the temple and it tears it down.
Right.
That's really what it does. It just tears down that whole belief system.
And allows you to see it in action for what it is and observe it instead of being in it.
What in the world are we going to do without the belief of the behavior of man, sin, the devil, and the enemy?
The world operates.
And our destination, oh my gosh, where we're going to go.
Yep.
You mean to tell me we're going to live in a world where we don't believe in sin and the devil and the enemy and the destination and the behavior of man? Huh? How could that be? How could that be? You see, it's unbelievable. Well, that's the grace of God. That's the message of the new covenant. That's the message.
Unconditional grace.
Yeah. Hey guys,
and not a continual asking. You've been forgiven for all.
There's no such thing as wrong. How do you tell people that?
And tap into following.
How do you tell people that?
Right. It goes against what's out in the world.
It is exactly the opposite of what they see.
No, it's clear. Here's black and white. That's right.
How could there be a wrong in a God-created world?
Right.
But they're believing in a lie. They're believing in a lie. This free will system, this free will world system. Go listen. Go talk to the atheist. Go talk to the atheist. You know, he'll tell you, I believe in free will. Go walking around your neighborhood. Go walking around. You know what they tell you? I believe in free will. Well, why do we agree with them guys? Why are we in agreement with that? It's an assumption. We're grown up with an assumption that's not true. And we think it's reality. And this thing is killing us. You wonder why the world isn't turned upside down? The world's not turned upside down because we're walking around in unbelief.
So this all circles back to you can have peace and rest. And I got to get back. They're heading to the Keys. I got to get the vehicle back.
Okay.
But
well,
this goes back to peace and rest. So with all this, stuff's going to happen. And through all the stuff that pops up, you need to see God as the creator of all.
Yeah.
God's not the creator of just the good stuff, because it's not a good and bad. God's the creator of all. This is another creation of God. One piece in the puzzle that in the whole scheme of things is magnificent, is full of grace, is full of love for you to allow you to have peace and rest right here, right now.
I don't know how else you're going to have peace and rest in a physical outward appearance world that's turned you upside down and shaking you up. And he's using all that. And that's all trying to get our attention to say, hey, guess what? I'm God.
Yeah. You trust me.
I'm God. Do you believe in me? That's it. It's that simple.
So there we have it. You can have peace and rest in this world with chaos, with the reminders from God, with all the craziness that's going to occur. And by the way, we are not minimizing any of the challenge or difficulties you're facing.
Oh my gosh.
We face them, but we have friends that are facing things that you just can't even imagine. And who knows what you're going through, but just know it's not a surprise to God. And this is not a punishment. It's not the labels that are put on it. It is what it is, and it's all part of the grand scheme of God. And in that twinkling of an eye, when we do have that last breath, we recognize and we see through the veil of the, what do you call it, the hypnosis, the fog, the lies that our eyes see in this physical realm. In that twinkling of an eye, we see through that, like, oh man, I wish I would have had the peace or the rest when I was still in this form, not what I have now, resting in peace. You know, you can and you will see it through a different perspective, and instead of wondering.
Well, peace and rest is believing in a God and a world that tells you the opposite.
Yep.
That's really what it is.
That's it.
Okay?
And not getting caught up in the distractions and the nonsense. Go to God. Talk to God. You and God have a conversation. You in your heart, and see what that's like. Focus on that. We'll be back. Shoot your questions.
Let's get your car back.
Yep. Good
All
stuff.
right, buddy.
All right. Good stuff. Boom.
Take care.